Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our TAD Adventures here. Today we are starting out in Durango, Colorado, and we'll be going over to Dolores, Colorado, just a short ride on the highway where we'll intersect the TransAmerica Trail and get right back on it. Tonight we should end up in Monticello, Utah. This morning we are riding west on Highway 160. When we reach Mancos, Colorado, we'll turn right onto Highway 184. This will take us into Dolores, Colorado, but we still have to head further north to intersect the TransAmerica Trail. The ride to Dolores takes us through what I consider high plains. We have left the area of the 14ers behind us, and we will gradually descend down to Monticello in Utah. The Dolores River's headwaters start from Side Rock Ridge, and Side Rock Ridge is just south of Grizzly Peak. Grizzly Peak's elevation is 13,435 feet. From there, the Dolores River flows 230 miles until its confluence with the Colorado River along the Utah border. The McPhee Reservoir sits just outside of Dolores, Colorado, and it runs north to south. We will have to ride north of Dolores towards Lone Mesa State Park before we can turn westward on the TransAmerica Trail. The McPhee Reservoir is the second largest in Colorado and is operated by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. The McPhee Dam also houses two 1,300 kilowatt turbine generators. The water storage supplies municipal and irrigation water for a large portion of southwest Colorado. The U.S. Forest Service operates a campground and boat ramp also. Getting back on the gravel road here means we're getting close to our turnoff on the TransAmerica Trail. It won't be long that we'll be heading west and towards an intersection with the Dolores River Gorge. Pretty cool. On today's route, the TransAmerica Trail stays mainly in the high plains. We'll see mountains off in the distance, but we won't be making any mountain passes today. For the most part, all the roads that we're on today are nicely maintained gravel, Forest Service roads, or county roads, but we do encounter some sand in a couple places. Interestingly enough, we ride through this pine and aspen forest in what otherwise is mostly a desert landscape. It just seemed a little out of place. It didn't take long, though, before we were right back into the desert. Off in the distance, that mountain, I believe, is in Utah. But it'll take us a while before we get over there, and we go through a lot of farmland after crossing the Dolores River Canyon. To our left is the Dolores River Canyon. We'll do some switchbacks before we get to the bottom, but there's a really nice campground at the bottom that I'll tell you about. An interesting fact is that during the spring melt, there is enough water in the Dolores River to raft downstream. But once that water is gone, the river below the McPhee Dam dries up. There just isn't enough water storage in the reservoir to keep the river navigable. Also, this is the only bridge over the river in this area for miles and miles. So if you get lost, you're going to want to find this bridge. At the bottom is the Bradfield Campground. There are 22 first-come, first-served campsites. This place gets busy during the rafting season, which is near Memorial Day. The climb out of the canyon was a little sandy with loose gravel. It wasn't too terribly bad, but be cautious as you head uphill. Once back up top again, the landscape changes dramatically. You're in farmland for as far as the eye can see. There's several miles here of farm after farm. Check out this old homestead. Pretty cool, huh? The TransAmerica Trail kind of zigzags back and forth through farmland and scrub growth like you see here, but we are steadily making our way westward until we reach the Utah state line. Surprisingly, we haven't been seeing many cattle. A quick internet search gave me my answer. Southwest Colorado has been in drought, making ranching a more and more difficult operation. Cattle is still king in Colorado, but in years to come, that may be changing. This little shallow watering hole here is one of the few places of water that we've seen that hasn't been one of the big rivers or reservoirs. This almost looks like an old outhouse, but I'm not sure. We ended up stopping at this little gas station here to take a break and get something to drink before we got back out onto the road. But we're getting closer and closer to Utah. In front of us is the Abajo Mountains. We've been able to see this mountain range for most of the afternoon as we ride closer and closer. Monticello, Utah sits near the base of this mountain range. As you can see, we've hit one of those sandy spots and we're having to slow up just a little bit. We pop out on the highway and cross over into Utah, but the TransAmerica Trail doesn't stay on the highway very long here. It turns and heads west a little bit more, and we do a little zigzagging on the back roads before we make it to Monticello. How beautiful are those mountains, though? Yep, more sandy roads. Just gotta go a little slower and be more cautious. But boy, it was a lot of fun here. The mountain range you see off in the distance there is where we'll be going tomorrow. We finally make it to Monticello, Utah. It's a nice little town and has plenty of amenities here. It's time for us to get gassed up, get the bikes filled up, get some fuel for ourselves, and head to the hotel. Well, the sun's gone down here, and we made it to Monticello, Utah. We had a good day today, and we're staying at a must be a recently renovated motel, the Boho Inn, and boy, the rooms are just really deluxe here. I was surprised. This would be a nice place to stay for anybody if they're passing through. Well, that's it for today. Hope you liked the video. We had a good time bringing it to you. We'll see you tomorrow when we're on our way to Moab. Take care.
Well, we traveled from Durango to Monticello, Utah. Let's just say I improved my driving on gravel roads skills. But we had some beautiful scenery once again. Anyway, looking forward to tomorrow in Utah.